The following is a Papi Chulo Radio original program. The views and opinions expressed in the commentaries and or interviews in the following program are solely of the individuals and are not the views of Papi Chulo Radio, its parent, affiliate, or subsidiary companies.
Welcome to Are You Afraid, COVEN, the unofficial American Horror Story COVEN internet radio show, exclusively on Papi Chulo Radio. Today is Monday, October 14th, 2013, and I'm your host, Papi Chulo. Here on Are You Afraid, COVEN, we are going to recap, review, and dissect the latest episode of the hit FX series. We are going to deliver directly to you the biggest news regarding American Horror Story COVEN. So you're going to get all of the casting scoops, episode titles, ratings reports, and spoilers during the latter half of the show. Don't worry, we're going to warn you with a spoiler alert. Please welcome my fantastic co-hosts. They're each super fans of the American Horror Story series. I'm going to introduce the co-hosts in the order that they signed up for this broadcast. So first up, we have Deadly.
Hey, that's right. Thanks for having me on the show. Yeah.
Next up, we have Cat's Meow.
Meow! What's going on?
That was loud.
I'm sorry, but I don't have like a headset.
It's okay.
It's broken. Shut the fuck up, all three of you guys. Be quiet.
And last but not least, we have Darielle.
Hey, what's up, you guys? I'm happy to be here.
Hers was really fucking loud.
Maybe your thing is turned up too loud.
Maybe it is. You guys are right.
So, listeners, this is our dysfunctional family, much like the Harmons of season 1. So let me continue introducing you to these interesting co-hosts. And we'll start off with a bit of an icebreaker so that the listeners can get to know each of you individually. So my question for you is, in season 1 and season 2, who was your favorite character? So I want you to list a favorite character from season 1 and a favorite character from season 2. And we're going to start off with Darielle. Oh, and also need to know why.
Oh, okay. My favorite from season 1 had to be... Oh, God, so long ago. I'm going to say Violet because I guess I could relate to her more, just kind of like a small fish, big pond place. And I don't know, she was really close to her mom toward the end when her and her mom fought those burglars or whatever.
Mm-hmm. And you like to have sex with ghosts.
Girl.
Yeah, you know. And as far as season 2, oh, you know what? Can I retract my answer for the first one? I'm going to say Tate for the first one. I take that back. I love Tate. For season 2, my favorite, I don't remember her name, but the chick who ended up being the devil.
Sister Mary Eunice.
Yeah,
yes.
She was everything.
Yeah, because she started off so sweet and innocent, but I knew from the very beginning while watching it, I was like, something's up with this chick. And then she ended up being like Satan himself. So, I mean, that's who I like. Sister Mary Eunice in second season, and first season I like Tate. Mm-hmm. I guess I should say why I like Tate. I like Tate because he had that crazy kind of deal, but like he was very likable for whatever reason. He was nuts, but he was very personable. So kind of like me, you know? So.
Okay.
That's
no
what.
Firearms for Darielle. Cat's Meow, same question.
Girl, okay, I have to stop being so loud because I can't remember. I can't remember that I don't have a headset on. But my favorite character in the first was, of course, Constance, because she has that nice Southern charm about her, and she didn't give a fuck. She did not care, but you can tell that she definitely was very family oriented, but not the typical family oriented type of mother. But I thought she was everything. I love Jessica Lange. I think she's an amazing actress, and her face. Whoever does her work, I'm going to be looking for them when I'm like 40 years old.
I said that same thing.
She's everything. She like, I mean, you can tell like she's had work done, but it's not like she doesn't look like the cat lady. Like she's just amazing. And of course, my character in the second, I don't know. It's honestly a tie. I really liked Miss Lana Banana, and I really I can't remember what Jessica Lange's character's name was in the second one. Yes, I lived for Sister Jude because the bitch she had everything. She had the attitude, her being nasty and having her whole fantasy with her sleeping with the priest. That right there. That's what I want to be when I grow up. I want to be Sister Jude when I grow up. I want to be that without the nun. I want to be like sexy and.
So you're gonna wear
whatnot.
red panties under your clothes?
I would, please. I'm gonna like become a nun for a little bit just so I can wear silky red lingerie underneath my habit, just so I can be like, y'all don't know what I got underneath here, but I do. But it was so hard. There were so many like memorable characters, but of course, like everyone's gonna pick Lana, but I really did enjoy Sister Jude. I just didn't like her. The ending of her story. That's the only thing I didn't like.
Yeah. That was...
It just left everything in the air, and I don't like shit like that.
Deadly, same questions.
Well, I'm probably gonna have to go with Tate also. Some little rubber man. Tate. Yeah. I was
of course
really
say
digging
that.
I was digging the whole rubber scene, but I also like the Down syndrome girl. And I don't know her
yes.
name.
Oh, Addie.
Her name is
Addie. Yeah, I love her.
Pretty girl.
Girl,
Yeah,
wait for me.
I live for her, and I was sad when she disappeared too early on. And then in season 2, I would have to say Pepper. No one said Pepper. Come on.
Oh my god, I
shout
forgot
out
all
to
about
Pepper.
Pepper. Like,
Yeah, Pepper was my
This is
girl.
like-
She disappeared early too for a while.
no, Pepper was everything. Especially
Thank
when
you.
Sister Jude was like, she was like, and why don't we allow food in the rooms? And she was like, rats. That was the funniest fucking thing I have ever heard. Right there. That was going to be my my text message alert. Is going to be rats every time I get a text.
Yeah, I live for Pepper. You're right.
Yeah,
Shout
she
out
was
to
everything.
Pepper. Yes. Okay, and my favorites, season 1, I have to agree, Constance. Constance was everything. I mean, she was the show, in my opinion. Jessica Lange made the show, in my opinion, the success it was. She was phenomenal. She deserved the Emmy that she won for Constance. She was amazing. I mean, she took a character that was so despicable in the way that she treated people, in the way that she treated her own daughter, in the way that she treated everyone around her. She was a bigot, she was a racist, she was a homophobe, but for some reason you were rooting for the lady. I don't know why, but
Exactly.
you were.
I don't know. It's just something different about her. Like you said, yeah, she's like this horrible person, but there was something about her that made
She was
her likable.
fascinating.
Yeah, when you
She was
found out her
magnetic.
story.
Whenever she was on the screen, you just had to watch.
Everybody shut the fuck up. Constance on TV.
Exactly. Exactly. And for season 2, I have to go with Sister Mary Eunice. I thought Lily Rabe was a find in season 2. Yes, she was in season 1. She had that very small role as the nutsy cuckoo Nora, the mad scientist, for lack of a better word, the mad doctor's wife.
Yeah.
That created the
Right.
Infantata, but she was, in my opinion, very forgettable in season 1. But season 2, she owned Sister Mary Eunice. We got to see her for an episode and a half as this weak, subservient girl who sort of idolized, for lack of a better word, Sister Jude. And then, bam, once that boy got exorcised, his demonic spirit, the devil, went out of him and went directly into her, and she went buck wild for the remaining episodes that she was in. She owned every scene that she was in. She was very convincing as this menacing evil presence. So it was really good. A really great job by Lily Rabe as Sister Mary Eunice.
She definitely kicked ass, and I like the fact that they gave her a different part, because I didn't really care for her in the first American Horror Story, because she was always crying and shit, and always, like, her nose was always wet, and she always looked like she was just on the verge of a breakdown. I understand why she was, but I'm gonna have to give it up to Dr. Harmon's, like, she don't even deserve her name because she was a hoe, and she was scary. But when she said, you gotta stop this crying shit, that was the only time I'm like, yes.
Yeah,
would
Hayden.
you please? Your nose always looks like it's wet. You look like a fucking, like a sad dog that's always just moping and weeping and crying. But when they gave her the part of, because I'm right though, that bitch was always crying. And then just like, I have a hole in the back of my head. Bitch, it's been how many years? You know damn well that hole has always been there. Find something new to cry about. Cry about the fact that you don't know what the fuck a microwave is and it's in your home. Cry about that. Stop crying about shit you can't change. The fact that your son is a fucking animal.
I can't have that in here. No.
What the fuck? Bitch, you gonna have it. You know why? You gonna have it? Because you did it to yourself. You could have been cute and you could have died somewhere else, but you had to die in that house with your damn son that looked something off of damn Troll 2. Don't
Bloody hell.
Look it up. Look it up. Look it up. You'll be like, yeah, he looks like that something off a Troll. Yes, he does.
So passionate.
Yes. And that, listeners, is Cat's Meow. So let's jump into the season premiere of American Horror Story Coven. We're going to start off, as we will be doing here on Are You Afraid, with the official synopsis of the episode. First off, we actually have the press release that shares the season 3 storyline, so I'm going to read that first. Over 300 years have passed since the turbulent days of the Salem witch trials, and those who managed to escape are now facing extinction. Mysterious attacks have been escalating against their kind, and young girls are being sent away to a special school in New Orleans to learn how to protect themselves. Wrapped up in the turmoil is new arrival Zoe, who is harboring a terrifying secret of her own. Alarmed by the recent aggression, Fiona, the long-absent Supreme, sweeps back into town, determined to protect the Coven and hell-bent on decimating anyone who gets in her way. Now I'm going to read the official press release for episode 301, which is titled Bitchcraft. A young girl, Zoe, is shattered to discover she possesses a strange genetic affliction tracing back to the dark days of Salem. Zoe is whisked away to Miss Robichaud's Academy for Exceptional Young Ladies, a mysterious school in New Orleans devoted to safeguarding the few remaining descendants who share this unique bloodline. Harboring a secret agenda, Fiona Good, the most powerful witch of their generation, returns to town, reigniting old rivalries with the Coven's deadly enemies, the Voodoo. And then we have the official episode synopsis, so I'm going to read that too, and then I'm going to get everyone's initial first reaction to the episode. So here's the official episode synopsis of Bitchcraft. 1834, New Orleans, the evil and perverse Madame Lalaurie, who bathes in the blood of others, in an attempt to stay young, punishes a servant for having been seduced by her daughter Pauline by transforming him into a beast, not by magic, but by far more gruesome means. Today, Orlando, Florida, teenage Zoe Benson, upon losing her virginity, learns in a terribly horrific way that she's a witch. It runs in her family, who descended from the witches of Salem, but only manifests in some of her family, not all of it. None of the real witches at Salem were burned. They escaped suspicion and fled to New Orleans. Zoe is forcibly sent to a witches' boarding school there, Miss Robichaud's Academy for Exceptional Young Ladies, never to see her mother again. There, after a terrifying ordeal, she meets her new classmates, spoiled brat teenage movie star Madison Montgomery, who can move objects with her mind, the feisty Queenie, a human voodoo doll who can inflict her wounds on the person who gave them to her, and Nan, who has Down syndrome and is clairvoyant. Zoe also meets the headmistress, Cordelia Fox, and mute, sullen butler, Spaulding. In its heyday, the school had over 60 students, but today witches are a dying breed. Zoe learns that most witches learn a few spells, but in each generation there is a supreme who embodies countless magical gifts, perhaps all of them. But Cordelia also warns Zoe that their kind are still under threat of being persecuted and burned alive, like young Misty Day, who terrified the folks at her church when she discovered she could raise the dead. We next meet Fiona, a wealthy witch obsessed with eternal youth, and frustrated that her attempts to obtain it, both scientific and magical, continually end in failure. She is Cordelia's mother, and they have a fraught history. While Cordelia wants to teach the girls to live peacefully, Fiona, who is the Supreme, wants to teach them to make the world fear them. Meanwhile, Madison takes Zoe to a frat party where Zoe meets the sweet, grounded Kyle, but the other frat boys are not so kind and will regret the horror they visit upon Madison. Later, Fiona takes the girls to visit the home of the legendary Madame Lalaurie, who we learn was killed by the Voodoo Queen as revenge for her murder of her lover. And Nan sees ominous portents of the future. So, before delving deep into the episode, let's get some initial reactions to the episode. Once you were done seeing the episodes, that 1 hour and 12 minute with commercials episode, what were your thoughts? And we'll start off with Deadly.
Man, this was just giving me some Witches of Eastwick mixed with Carrie, some Bewitched. You know, I was thinking this was Facts of Life. Imagine if they were witches. You know, the whole boarding school.
Tootie and Blair.
Yes. Yeah. I was thinking maybe Queenie might be Natalie and Tootie. I don't know. Maybe that was Madison. No, that'd be Blair. Blair would be Madison. Yeah. Anyway, it was giving me everything. Just giving me so many things. I was loving it right away. I think this is going to be better than the season number 2.
I don't know. It's hard because, like, with season 2, the first episode of season 2, it started off with a bang. There's a lot of blood and there's a lot of gore. So it was just like bam, bam, bam. You're seeing all this crazy stuff. You're seeing sex. You're seeing someone's arm being ripped off. You're seeing they're going back in time. Like, there was so much to focus on. And when I watched the first episode, I did get a little bit, maybe an after-school special about not having sex before you're married kind of feel. I felt that a little bit. And then I also, like, I saw, as far as seeing Madame Lalaurie and her whole beauty regimen, for some reason, Elizabeth Bathory, who is someone who's from the 14 or 1500s, I'm not sure, and she bathed in virgin's blood, thinking that it held, and what is it, almost a fountain of youth effect. And
Make
that's
that
what I
face
got.
tight like that who?
Yes, when she said, "Look at this waddle," I fell off the couch. I fell off the couch because in my eyes, Kathy Bates plays incredible crazy characters. When she played Homegirl in Misery, I'm pretty sure that girl in Misery and fucking Madame Delalaurie, they were in the same bloodline because them bitches is nuts. But I actually, there was a lot of shocking points in it. It was kind of, some parts were really hard for me to watch because I don't really deal well with certain forced sexuality scenes. I really don't like that kind of stuff. Yeah. But it was something about it. I can tell it's very campy right now. And I hope that that was just kind of a first episode kind of deal, because I would hate for it to be like little wisecracks here and there.
But that's what I loved, is the one-liners. You had to love
really?
Kathy Bates. You had to love when the slave says, "Why are you doing this?" And she's like, "Because I can." I'm like,
yeah,
they're setting the scene for what's to come.
Yeah.
They're getting all of that
like
out
that,
of the way, just so they can start, building up, getting more in depth as to each person's character. I know after watching this episode, I have a newfound love for Emma Roberts. I just used to think of her as that little girl on Unfabulous on Nickelodeon, and now to see how much she's transformed, she's kind of like the stereotypical mean bitch kind of thing. But at that frat party, I've seen stuff like that. Not, them running trains, but I've seen them try to, lure girls like that. And to see how she, handled it is kind of like I felt for her in that moment, kind of like rooting for the bad guy kind of thing. It was a bad thing for her to do, but at the same time, you were like, well, shit. That's what I would have done too.
It's how she did it though. Like the fact that she couldn't get out of bed, and as soon as can you please get Zoe? Girl, I understand you trying to run behind this bus, but you in heels and a tiny ass dress, and trust me, you ain't getting nowhere. Why would you run by yourself? But when I'm telling you, when that girl came out, when Madison came out and she walked up and she was looking, bitch, I ain't got time for this. Flipped that bus and walked away. I said,
she flipped that bus like she just flipped her hair, dude.
I know. That bus was a hair flip, okay? She didn't give a fuck. She was like, girl, bye. And then she flipped it, and she was like, the way that she was walking, she was like, bitch, let's go. I've been to better bar mitzvahs. And then just left it at that. Like, that's what she looked like.
I didn't just
I'm not
a train ran on me or anything. Didn't happen.
Get on your broom. Let's go.
I just love how you can kind of get in depth already in the first episode as far as what each person's power is. I'm kind of glad they all introduced them all in one episode rather than you going through each of the seasons to figure it out. I think later on in the episodes they'll kind of delve more into it as far as more detail, but I like right off the bat old girl from Precious, she's a voodoo doll, and then the little one who played Addie first season, she has ESP, she has all of this stuff. You figuring it all out. You're like, okay, so what's to expect from these powers? And I really liked how they just introduced that.
Yeah, I thought it was a really good.
What is Zoe's exactly?
She has power of the.
She can. She kills people when she sleeps with them.
It's kind of like
she fucks them to death.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I feel like they could have tweaked her power a little bit more or less. Actually, give her that, since she is so very innocent and almost like she has this almost doe-like appearance. I hope that they really tweak it and be like, this bitch can really almost what's that damn girl off of X-Men? She has the power. She has the touch of persuasion. I can't remember her name. No, not Rogue. It was. It's one of like Logan's lovers, but when she touches you, she can persuade you to do something she wants. And I hope that's what her power evolves into. She has maybe a touch of persuasion, and then she can fuck people to death, literally.
It's very basic. It's very basic but I feel like maybe they can kind of spin it, kind of make her into a sultry seductress that kind of fucks you up in a way.
Exactly.
Like just kind of turn it around, because it's kind of like, okay, I kill people when I have sex, so I can just wear a chastity belt all my life. It's kind of boring. It's not boring, but it's really controllable right now. So I feel like hopefully she gets more in tune with the power. Maybe it spreads when she screams instead of, I don't know. Like it's just very.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think they're going to change her power. I think whatever the power it is. Ryan Murphy has said that all of the powers that were given, that they created or that they made these characters have, were real powers that were assumed to be had by women that were accused to be witches. So there were women, in the 1800s that were accused of being able to basically fuck men to death, that were, clairvoyant, that had telekinesis, that could do this, that, or the other. So they're all based on real things women were accused of doing.
So they did their research. They did some research.
Which one of those would you want, Poppy? Which one of those?
Well, I was actually going to ask all of you this question. So, let me first give my opinions on the premiere, and then I'm actually going to ask each one of you what you would have. So, start thinking about it. I thought it was an excellent first episode. I thought it was one of the strongest premieres in this franchise series thus far. I think the setup was amazing. I think that this season is like the strongest ensemble that they've ever had. I mean, when you have Jessica Lange, Kathy Bates, and Angela Bassett on a show, it's going to be killer. So I thought all of the characters were introduced very well. I thought we really got the chance to understand the different dynamics. I mean, to have two women that we've seen in every season, in Jessica Lange and Sarah Paulson, play such an antagonistic role, but in such a different way than Lana and Sister Jude last season, was phenomenal to see. I mean, the woman hates her mother, and you can kind of see, even though she's this steely demeanor, that she really wants her daughter's love and respect. So that was fantastic to see play out, and I truthfully can't wait to see what they have under their sleeves, because the premiere was completely different than what I anticipated, especially after reading all of the sneak peeks and the spoilers and things like that. I could not have imagined a better premiere. So let's jump into this question that Deadly posed, and this is a question for everyone. If you could have one of the powers that was shown in this episode, which one would you have? So the powers that we saw was clairvoyance, where you can read people's minds. There was the necromancy, where you can bring back the dead. There was fucking someone to death. There was telekinesis. And there was the human voodoo doll. Which of these powers would you have? We'll start off with Cat's Meow.
That's a really hard question. I liked the possibility of being clairvoyant, but I don't like surprises. I mean, not surprises. I don't like knowing everything. I like things to kind of be a mystery to me. And me being nosy, I always feel like I'd just be like, I know what that person is thinking across the room. What you thinking? Like, I just don't think that would work for me. I really like telekinesis. I really like the fact, because I'm lazy, and I would love I would love to just be able to sit on my couch and just direct everything from
come
there.
over here, bowl of mac and cheese.
No, let's get fancy about it. Like, if my powers were super good, I'd be like, come on, steak from Applebee's, like, and come to my apartment and come to my window.
Real fancy.
And no, right? And then the other one that kind of that piqued my interest for some reason was being able to bring something back to life. And I don't know if it was how the way that Lily Rapp played that character that made it intriguing to me, because I never really had any interest in bringing anything back to life. But she has almost this weird Stevie Nicks 70-ish hippie flair about her, and very light and very just flowy, and just almost, I just want to see like what she speaks like, and see if she's very breathy when she talks. For some reason, she seems very, I don't know. That's the only reason that I would be semi-interested in, is the way that I see that she's portraying the character already. But girl, bring on the telekinesis. I'm ready to make some sandwiches by just sitting on my couch. So
I would probably agree. I don't really care too much what people are thinking, so clairvoyance would not be something I would be interested in, because I don't give a damn what you think. That's you. You can tell me that in person.
Hey.
Telekinesis. Telekinesis seems like, I agree. I'm lazy sometimes, and I want to be like Emma Roberts. You know, when someone pisses me off, okay, that's how you feel. Let me just, flash your ass on a wall. Okay.
Exactly. Flip that bus, girl. Flip that bus.
Yeah, like that's what you do. You want to try me? That's what you're doing today? Okay, how about this? Let me bust you down by using my mind, like Carrie does, or whatever. That's what I would do.
I'm going to have to say the human voodoo doll. I mean, because that scene tonight with, spoiler alert thing, just the scene tonight with Queenie Precious Cabaret Sidibe, and just seeing that thing, whatever she tortures herself with is affecting someone else. That just got to me. And just the whole thing with voodoo is, I've been interested in that since, I don't know if you guys ever saw Angel Heart and Lisa Bonet years ago. And now
that's the movie that pissed off Bill Cosby.
right.
Bill Cosby was
chicken blood all over her.
I'm taking away your.
But wait, I'm mad that you called her Queenie Precious.
No, he said precious.
I'm saying all her names.
Queenie Precious Gabrielle Sidibe. Shout out to Gabby, wherever you are.
Whatever her name is.
Gabby.
No,
Yes.
her name is Forever Precious. He's right. Dudley is
can't-
right.
She can't run away from that like she was running with that chicken.
Exactly.
She's always going to be precious.
That's like Oprah trying to run away from her character in The Color Purple. That was Oprah. That was Oprah.
All right, Poppy. What about you, Poppy?
I actually would like clairvoyance because I'm nosy, and I'm not going to apologize for
You
that.
really are. You really are.
I mean, it's plain and simple. I think it would be fun. I think it would be interesting. The only thing I think would be difficult would be to like hone it in so that you're not just hearing like a crap load of people talking and it's all white noise. Like to be able to hone it in and like listen to one person, like that would be kind of awesome. I think it would be interesting. See what people are really thinking, what people are not telling you. So I think that would be kind of fun.
I just want to be the supreme. That's it.
Yeah, when you're the Supreme, you can do anything. That's why I didn't mention the Supreme or the Voodoo Queen because they seem to have other powers.
As long as I could live lavishly and be that just fucking amazing as the Supreme, like Jessica Lange is portraying her to be. Oh yeah, I'll be the Supreme. I'll be a Taco Supreme, a Burrito Supreme, whatever the fuck you want me to be.
Go be Diana Ross.
As long, I will lead. I will do whatever you want as long as I get to live lavishly like that. The girl, I've never seen someone make Coke look so glamorous before in my life.
I
couldn't believe that. I was like, Jessica Lange is doing Coke.
Yes, the fact that she was dancing, and the one thing I have to point out about this character, she's very sensual. And when they said that Ryan Murphy said that they want Jessica Lange wanted to play a more glamorous character, they hit it spot on. Because not only, like, to me, for some reason she reminds me of Anna Wintour or something, just somebody who's very glamorous. They don't give a fuck. They know that they could fuck your ass up in a minute. And for her dancing and being sensual, for some reason it wasn't like looking at my grandmother being sensual. It was like seeing.
She is snatched. She looks beautiful.
Yes, the bitch was. Yes, you're right. You're right. That bitch was snatched for the gods. She's amazing.
Hey, can I give you a tidbit about the song she was dancing to? That song was sampled by Nas in like one of my favorite hip hop songs called "Hip Hop Is Dead." Just
yes.
Mm-hmm.
See, Jessica Lange. She knows what's up. She knows what's up.
She really does. So let's explore some of the characters, especially some of the ones that we haven't had the chance to really discuss. And so we'll start off the opening scene, Madame Lalaurie. We're introduced to her in her home in 1834. She's in New Orleans. The near majority of New Orleans residents are French speakers. There's a large population of free African Americans alongside a large population of slaves. And Bates is there at her home. She's basically offering her daughters to gentlemen callers, potential wealthy men that will marry them. And of course, she has a naughty daughter that knows words that are very freaky for the time, like boudoir.
She was, when she said that, she was so nasty. Like, for some reason, all I can imagine is those bitches that sit in the back of the bus, and that's all I can think about. I'm like, yeah, if this was 21st century, your ass be sitting in the back of the bus trying to flirt with every damn thing that walks your way. But the fact that she was just like, mother, I know my place, but girl, maybe it is in the boudoir. Girl, you nasty as hell. I caught herpes just listening to your ass speak.
Oh my god.
No, you didn't.
She tried it. She did it.
Yes. And so we get to know Madame Lalaurie a little bit more. We see her applying blood to her face in a vain attempt to maintain her youth.
To her waddle.
Yes, to her waddle. And then the daughter, the horny daughter, Pauline, gets caught having sex with one of the servants, and Madame Lalaurie would not have that, and so she took the man up to her attic, which basically was a makeshift prison where we saw all of the just horrific torture that she does to her slaves, and she decided to do a particular kind of torture to this man and put a bull's head on him and make him, in her words, a real life a minotaur. And we also see in a later flashback that the Minotaur, the man that she created into a Minotaur, was actually a romantic love interest for the voodoo queen of New Orleans, who's known as Marie Laveau, and that's played by the fantastic Angela Bassett. And Angela Bassett arrives at Madame LaLaurie's home with a quote-unquote love potion that was to make Madame LaLaurie's husband fall back in love with her as opposed to sleeping around. But in actuality, it sort of poisoned her, and it basically gave her the gift, or maybe not much of a gift, of eternal life, but eternal suffering as well, because the voodoo queen, Marie Laveau, imprisoned her in a coffin and buried her alive. So, and we'll learn a little bit more about that when we continue on the recap of the episode. But I want to get everyone's opinion on Madame LaLaurie, Kathy Bates, Angela Bassett, and that whole flashback storyline to the year of 1834. We'll start off with Dariel.
It was a bit uncomfortable to watch at the beginning simply because of I know it's American Horror Story, so there's going to be gore, but the fact that it all correlates with pretty much true life stuff. So to think that this kind of stuff was really happening back then, it just kind of freaks me out. It makes me glad that I wasn't born in that time era. However, although Kathy Bates, she's always played a good crazy person, I've noticed, but I kind of like her character, and I know it sounds really messed up, but I appreciate the fact that she's very well read in Greek mythology, so she kind of did her research as far as what she was going to do to F people up, and I can always appreciate people who do research and want to make things as authentic as possible. So I don't know, but again, it made me really uncomfortable. I don't know. It was just, I lost my train of thought. But I don't know. It's just kind of weird, seeing this all fall into place. But I like the flashbacks going back and forth between old times and the new times, because it kind of shows witches' places back then and how it all leads up to how it's going on now.
I definitely, yeah. I'm gonna have to agree with you. It definitely, the part where it went back in time and it showed how she was treating her slaves, it definitely made me uncomfortable, especially seeing the person whose face was peeled back, and also the one whose eyes and mouth were sewn shut, and she had put feces into their mouths. And it's the reason it hit me so hard is because it's I've been just learning about African American history all my life, and seeing that, especially knowing that her character is real. I've known about Madame DeLaurie since I was 10 years old, and knowing that she was a real person, even me being 23 years old, it still scares the shit out of me. No pun intended. It's just damn, this person, they could have really done that, or just all these things that I'm seeing, they could have they really did do that. They tortured these people. I was kind of nervous about how deep they were going to go into the torture with her, but I'm glad they lightly touched on it, and hopefully they still touch on it, but it doesn't get as graphic as the things that she actually did. I don't really care for a lot of gory things, but I thought she was amazing. I felt that she was actually Madame DeLaurie. I really felt that. I was like, damn, this bitch is rose from the dead and is playing this character now. I felt that was really her. Angela Bassett, of course, she's flawless. She's beautiful. Marie Laveau was also very beautiful and very and very smart, and I like the fact that they showed that. It's, once again, I felt like they embodied her and the whole character. As far as just the whole flashback, one thing that really confused me was the Minotaur thing. I on it when she said if you want to act like an animal or whatever, I thought she was going to like take off his penis or something. That's what
castrate him.
Yes, that's what I was expecting. But when she put the bull head on him, I was still confused, and I don't know if that's did she sew it on? Did she just let him sit there and die? I that was the part that really confused me. Was the bull head his part of his death or what?
It was. I feel like it was, number one, even more humiliation. She used.
Yeah, it was like to shame him.
Yeah, to shame him, and then to not see what's coming, I guess. You know?
Yeah, because he was already tortured. You could see before they put the I was about to call it the mask, but before they put the bull's head on him, he had scars like all over his face, you know, on his arms and legs. So he was already tortured. This was almost like the icing on the cake. You know, this is the ultimate humiliation. You know, you are an animal. You know, so we're gonna literally turn you into an animal. You are not a man. You're an animal.
Okay, then now I definitely understand it. I understand.
Yeah, that got to me. The half man, half bull. Just looking at that was a trip. And then with the Kathy Bates, what you were talking about, with the whole when she said to rip your lips open and put more shit in there.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
I
hated that. I hated that so much because it was like.
And just like you said, I mean, when she said like, "What?" The guy said, "Why are you doing this?" And she's like, "Because I can." I was like, man, there were people that evil, you know, that just got to me.
White privilege.
And her character, it was too much, but I'm glad that it was too much, because if it was not enough, I wouldn't be satisfied. Mariah Murphy, he really knows how to just tap into it and know how to make you uncomfortable and what is scary to someone. And to me, knowing that people like that exist, and knowing that she wasn't the only one to do it, but one of the few that were brought to the light about it, and like you said, the fact that she said, "Because I can," that right there,
just makes her so evil as a person. Like, cause she could have just been like, come up with some stupid excuse, but she just kept it real G. She's like, "Cause I can." She did. Like, and why are you questioning me about this? And I'm kind of glad that they kind of went overboard as the way it did, because a lot of people nowadays try and hush the fact that this really happened. You know, we weren't there in those times, but we know it happened. And so, you know, American Horror Story is a show that many people of many different backgrounds like to watch. So this kind of brings to light that there's proof that this happened and this is how it went down, and not to, you know, kind of, I know there are those, you know, people who are really way, way, way into civil rights sometimes, like, but sometimes those people have a point, kind of proving like, look, this is what our people had to go through. Don't try and just sweep it under the rug. It kind of
the child. You saw the child. The young kid is the one that put the bullhead.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness! Can you imagine if that? Like, can you imagine just the fear? Can you just imagine the feelings that he felt? That right there.
Actually, and I'm really sensitive, but that part made me tear up, because he's already a child. He's very vulnerable and innocent, and he didn't ask to come there. He was just, you know, really young. So it depends on how long she's had them as servants.
One of her current slaves had him.
Yes, exactly. So he was brought into that. He's just a little boy, and the fact that he at such a young age, he couldn't have been more than 7 at the most, having to do all of this, and it just broke my heart. I teared up a little bit to know that stuff like this really, really, really happened, and we just gotta know how to educate people, and putting it in popular shows like this kind of does that.
I definitely will agree with you, and you're right when you think about it and seeing the kid do it. It's definitely heartbreaking. The fact that he couldn't say no, the fact that he is a African American male, and he's putting, or I guess this is so weird, bestowing this bullhead on someone that is his family.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't even imagine. That's just too much for me right there.
Mm-hmm. It was a very difficult opening scene for me to watch, especially once we were going through her, for lack of a better word, Chamber of Horrors, knowing that all of it is accurate and that, I mean, you just got to go to her Wikipedia page and you'll read exactly what she did and worse. I mean, it was so graphic to watch, and much like, I mean, all of you have said, the one with the face, cut off and eyes sewn up. I mean, it was very difficult to watch. All I know is Kathy Bates is going to win the Emmy, and we're gonna go into some
crowned her
spoilers
already.
later on, and just knowing where her storyline is going, I mean, there's just no way that she's not gonna win an Emmy. So, Kathy
Please.
Bates, get ready for Best Supporting Actress in a miniseries for next week. I mean,
That's
not next
okay.
year.
Yeah, if she can put that one right next to the one she won for Misery.
Exactly. So let's talk a bit about a couple of the other witches that we haven't talked about. So we talked about Marie Laveau. We've talked about the young girls in the school. We didn't really chat too much about the daughter, Cordelia Fox, who's played by Sarah Paulson. She's the headmistress of the academy. And we also met very, very briefly Frances Conroy's character, whose name is Myrtle Snow. She was the mysterious red-haired lady with elaborate cigarettes who was flanked by a brigade of men in black. So, what did everyone think of these two witches?
I feel like Cordelia has a lot more about her that we aren't seeing just yet. I feel like she's the type who can really just kind of F shit up. And she covers it with this whole demure.
I love how Dariel knows letters.
F it up.
I don't like the fuck word. I don't like that one. But yeah, like, okay, fuck shit up. You want me to say it? I feel like she just not necessarily hides, because that is her personality. What I'm trying to say, I feel like she can do some damage to you if she really wants to, but she will feel bad about it, kind of. She just wants to be normal, kind of thing, or suppress her power, use her powers for good. There we go. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm looking
Yeah. Well, I wasn't feeling her. I know, maybe just because she was just so laid back, and I guess we'll see how Cordelia and then her mom Fiona, how that whole relationship pans out. But not, right now I was like, come on, girl, talk back to your mom and say something. You're just gonna. The mom at one time, she's like, I'll drop this whole house on you or something.
She's like, don't make me drop a house.
Don't make me drop a house on you. Oh, that was so funny.
I'm gonna have to agree. I'm not feeling Cordelia at all. Mainly because I'm have to say this. Maybe she'll have a point where she's gonna turn dark and she's gonna embrace the fact that she is the Supreme's daughter. But for the first episode, all I saw was Lana Banana, to be honest, with a different hairstyle. That's all I saw. And it's but it's not her fault. It's just Sarah Paulson has this very just soft appearance, and the way that she speaks, the way that she moves her mouth when she speaks. She was perfect for Lana, but seeing her like that, she's going to be a main character. I'm excited to see what she's going to bring. But I wasn't impressed with what I saw. I felt like she was just too. When are you going to die already? I felt like she was very angsty and very just. I'm like, I don't have time for this. I'm trying to help these kids and make sure that they can move about in the world and without being detected. And I feel like right now she's weak. And yeah. I don't like weak people, but I'm gonna open my eyes up and I'm gonna give her a chance and see how her character builds. But I'm living for her mother. I'm gonna stand for Jessica Lange all day. But I didn't really care for her. I just thought she was very weak. As far as Myrtle Snow, that hair, girl, I thought she snatched it off a bunch of good guy dolls.
And just them little crimps all up in it.
Yes, and no, right? And then she took one of those old school crimps that you can replace the slides and you put hearts and shit in.
Yeah.
So hers got broken and she couldn't replace the slides So I can tell she was trying to crimp her and flatten her hair at the same time. I just wasn't feeling it. Her I don't know, for some reason I thought she stepped out of a time zone and came out of another decade, and just not
Was
today.
she the maid? Was she the maid in season 1?
She was, and I think that's why I'm so
right.
used to seeing her as.
And she's the angel of death last season.
But she was everything in last season, with her accent, the cigarettes, her trying to turn Sister Jude out. That was everything for me. But I'm really looking forward to her, and I hope that she plays a semi-big character, or we learn more about her and why the fuck does she look like a Technicolored Chucky. I want to know about that.
No, she didn't say that.
Yes, she did. Yes, she did, though. Did you see that hair? Did you see it? But there was something
She's like
about
a
her.
female Ronald McDonald.
Girl, that's Ronald McDonald's twice removed cousin.
But her posse was cool. Like Poppy said, that posse
I know.
was cool.
Ooh, that albino guy with the blonde hair.
He looks familiar. He looks really familiar. I feel like I've seen him somewhere.
Was that guy in America's Next Top Model a couple weeks ago? I think it's the same guy.
You think so? For some reason, because there's not a lot of albino people that are in main, so he looks really familiar to me. I like the fact they had her just this bitch was with the Men in Black. Fuck it. Fuck what you heard. This bitch was with this bitch was with Agent JKLMNOP. And she was doing her thing, and then when she did her whole disappear motion, I was like, I can't wait to see what she has to bring, because that hair for some reason is an enigma. I want to know about it. I want to know what's going on.
Yeah, I'm fascinated by Myrtle. I mean, you guys would have covered Cordelia. I have the same feelings as well about her. She didn't impress me. I don't know. I can understand her motivation, like why she wants the girls to not suppress, but sort of be cautious about their power. But I'm really interested in seeing how they develop her, because as we've seen with other seasons, the way characters are at the beginning isn't necessarily how they are at the end of the season. So it'll be interesting to see if we see a transformation with Cordelia. So let's talk about the only non-witch that we were introduced to besides the tongueless Spalding, and that is Kyle, who's played by Evan Peters, who unfortunately has been relegated to someone that has to be dead. So let's talk a bit about Kyle. What did everyone think about Kyle? Did you think that in the first episode Kyle would be killed? Like, what was everyone's thoughts on Kyle?
I'm interested in seeing how they're gonna put him back in, because there's no way they can just kill off Evan Peters. He's everything in American Horror Story. When I think of American Horror Story, I think of Evan Peters as Tate. I think of him as I forgot his name in the second season.
Well, you don't
it
think
don't
about
matter.
it,
It doesn't matter what his name was, because
I call him Evan Peters, my future baby daddy. That's who
he's forever Tate. That's what I kept calling him in the second season.
But I was so sad, so I'm like, I mean, I know because in the promos for it, his name was always mentioned, so I was like, I hope they don't, do like Chris Brown did and Stomp the Yard, when they hyped this movie so much just to kill him off in the first 5 minutes. I'm like, they better not do this with Evan Peters. He has to have a more major role in this. I loved his character for the time that he was introduced. He was still a party guy, but one of the cool party guys that you can actually trust. The cool frat guys, not the one who will try and like manipulate you.
You know
or
what
anything.
they say? You know what they say about frat guys? They're nothing but gangsters with bandanas, right? Without bandanas.
With ascots and Sperry's.
I'm done fucking with
And
y'all.
he should know, because Deadly is a gangsta with a bandana.
That's right.
Okay. Let's just say that frat boys are gangsters with maybe polos and khakis. But
There we go.
I personally feel like they're not going to kill off Kyle, just because everyone wants that love story with Violet and Tate. And that's what they want. They truly want that. I personally feel like it's maybe Tate and Violet, since it is in present day, in a different place. That's how I feel. Like they pull some down to earth shit and switch their spirits out with somebody else in a different body.
Because this is not the real story, listeners. This is the story in our head.
But I really feel like Zoe and Violet are the same person, only this bitch isn't blowing smoke in someone's face. like she wasn't disrespectful. Like I feel like they're the same person. When he locked eyes with her from across the room and they were looking at each other through that panel of ice, I got a Romeo plus Juliet feel with Leonardo DiCaprio in it.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Because they saw each other through the fish tank.
Yeah.
And I was just like, that has to be paying homage to that. But they're not going to get rid of him. I feel like there's going to be a, I don't know if you guys have ever seen Pushing Daisies, but I feel like that's the kind of vibe it's going to give. She can't have sex with him, but you can tell it's love at first sight. She really likes him. And he's undead. He's pretty much a Frankenstein. They're gonna be with each other for as long as they possibly can and function as well as they possibly can, but not as a normal couple would. That's
and you
how
heard
I feel.
Addie, the one, the clairvoyant one, kind of told her that she will have love again.
Mm-hmm.
In an unexpected way.
Yep.
Right.
And rest in
They're
peace,
gonna bring
Pushing Daisies.
a necromancy person back. They're gonna bring somebody in like that. That's my.
Well, Misty
prediction.
Day, Lily Rabe, or Rab, however you pronounce it, she is a series regular. So
Yeah.
maybe
That's why I was
she might
thinking-
be able to use her necromancy on
That's what I was
herself.
thinking when I first when Kyle died. I was like, "There's no way they're gonna have to bring that hippie chick back because
They don't have to bring
Not the
Stevie
hippie
Nicks
chick.
Jr. back.
they have to because that's the only way I could see him coming back in this series and introducing her as a regular as well."
They use a few of like on the
That was
on
in the preview.
Yeah, on the episode 2 preview, they show him laying on a pentagram. So they may do some practical magic shit. I see, like, for some reason, I'm seeing all these. They're paying all this. I think homage to these different movies about love and
That's what they've done with the other series.
yeah. So I can definitely see they're probably going to do a practical magic thing, but he's not going to come out crazy as hell and start choking out people and shit. But I feel like they're not going to really bring that Misty Day back to physical life because remember they burned her at the stake. They're probably going to bring her back either in spirit or as flashbacks. Because once a witch is dead, they're dead. They don't have immortality. They don't have what voodoo priestess have, and that's what Fiona is looking for. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll see. We'll see about that. Now let's wrap up the storylines. Basically, where we sort of left off, we sort of talked already about Fiona and everyone else, so let's wrap up the actual storyline for the episode. Fiona comes back into town. She was going to take the girls to the former headquarters of what she called a quote-unquote alternative coven, implying that the witch world has several different factions throughout history of disagreeing philosophies, but Nan led them into Madame Lalaurie's old house, and after Fiona sort of did this awesome Jedi mind trick on the tour guide, she had the tour guide give them a free tour of the building, and that's where we learned the story of...
You're gonna do it for free, right?
I know, she was like, you're gonna do it for free. She's like, I'm gonna do it for free. I was like, yes. I was like, you damn Skippy gonna do it for free.
Yeah, so that's where we saw the continuing story of Marie Laveau with Madame Lalaurie, and then Fiona finds Nan across the street saying that the lady of the house was buried there and that she's talking to her. So later on in the episode, well, before we get to that, just to sort of wrap up the whole bus thing. So Zoe and Madison go to a frat party. Madison, as we've said, got gang raped by a bunch of Kyle's frat brothers, and so she, out of vengeance, flips the bus, and everyone died except for 2. Zoe visited the hospital hoping that one of the 2 was Kyle, but unfortunately it was not. It was actually the one that, the ringleader of the frat brothers that basically was the one sort of in charge of doing the gang rape. And Zoe decided to use her power to kill him. So now we're back to Fiona. Fiona has some workmen dig up the spot where Nan indicated that she could hear Madame Lalaurie, and out of the coffin came a very much alive Madame Lalaurie. and looking very extremely confused, and in probably one of the best lines of the night, Fiona tells her, "Come on, Mary Todd Lincoln, I'll buy you a drink."
Yes, God.
Yeah, I love that.
I about fell off my couch when I heard her say that. I was like, yes. Yes,
And so
yes,
that's
yes, yes,
the end of American Horror Story Coven, episode number 1, titled Bitchcraft. So, wrapping up, what did you guys think of, I guess, the ending of the episode 1 storylines, and what did you think of the episode as a whole, and what are you most looking forward to, especially after having seen the preview for episode 2?
I'm looking forward to slave zombies. Period. That's what I'm looking forward to. I hope that they do some Thriller-esque shit. I hope they do the clap with the slide of the legs. I hope they do that. I hope they got to do something, because after seeing Jessica Lange do the name game, I want to see at least one musical something in there. I want to see at least one musical thing, because the show itself is so animated already. And it's already kind of campy and scary and all kind of crazy stuff. I just want to see just that one thing. If not, I'm okay with that. But I would really like to see that. To be honest with you, the first episode of the season, it did an amazing job. It was more than I thought it would be, because I am an extreme fan. I thought I was going to like it regardless, no matter what. It could have seriously been an hour of Jessica Lange taking a shit on a toilet, and I would have been happy. I don't give a fuck.
Now that would have been one horror story.
But it was a simple thing. It was something I wasn't expecting. It was amazing. It was funny. It was bone chilling. Sometimes it made it really hard to watch. And I just feel like, I hope they really get into Marie Laveau's character. I hope that she is serving just Southern bitchy cunty realness. That's all I want from her and her twist braids. That's all I want, is her to be serving nothing but cunty realness. She was, and she had her legs propped up over that arm of the chair, and she was like, bitch. Like, that's what she looked like, bitch. I've been alive longer than anything, and I put that bitch in the ground for a reason. Yep. So either you give her back to me, or we're gonna have some issues. and I like the fact that she's just like, bam, like, if you don't like it, so what? I'm fucking Madam Lulu. Get the fuck out of here. I don't give a fuck who you are. Do you know who I am? Oh, you don't? Well, I'm about to show you who I am. I'm looking forward to see what Angela Bassett can bring. I've never seen her in such a strong character like this, besides when she was in What's Love Got to Do with It. And she's beautiful. She's an amazing actress. She's talented. I already know Kathy Bates gonna slay. So let me start sending my congratulations for your award card to her in the mail, because I know she gonna get it, because she's amazing. I'm ready to see who we gonna bring on board. Who are we gonna see in previous seasons that we haven't seen yet? I hope there's a Pepper in the mix. I hope I hope they just put Pepper in the background, just sit there and wait for everybody to know it's her. Like, that's all I need in my life, is just a little bit of Pepper. But
a little bit of spice.
A little bit of spice. I need a little bit of Pinhead in my life. That's all I need. So to be honest with you, I feel like it's going to be amazing, and I don't think that it'll top season 2 as far as shock and awe and holy shit, what just happened. There's aliens now, but I feel like it's still gonna have me like on the edge of my seat and crying and just emotionally attached to a lot of the characters.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how they work out with Kathy Bates, originally 1834, and now she's in 2013, and just
in the land of iPhones.
Exactly, yeah, and if you remember, Fiona even said that she's like, Twitter, Facebook, you can't live in no shadows now. It's like, I just want to see how they deal with that. It's going to be cool.
You're definitely. I want to see them put a cell phone or something in.
What is this device? Bringing that back. What is this device?
And it's funny because the way that she talks, and you can tell, like, she's still, when you've been in a box for that long, you've had enough time to think and just be like, damn. But it's weird because you're enclosed, so you don't get to see what's going on. You don't get to see how things have advanced, how things have changed. She came from a time where you could own people. You could own people and do whatever you want. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen today, because it still does. But where you could just openly treat a person like shit and not be reprimanded for it. And then now you live in a day and age where people have civil rights. People are blending together and openly interracial dating and gay relationships and gay marriage. I can't wait for this bitch to see what Twitter is about. I want
to see her try and go ham on a black chick or a black person and watch them slap the dog shit out of her, because I know that's going to happen.
I hope it's Queenie. I hope it's Queenie.
That's what I was just going to say. I hope it's Queenie Precious, because I feel like she got a mean swing. She had a mean swing, and she gonna try her, and Queenie's gonna be like, "Oh, word," and stab herself in the face.
But you know, the best thing that brings it about, I don't think that Madame LaLaurie can die. So you have, if you put the human voodoo doll together with someone who can't die, that right there, that's endless entertainment. She's gonna try to kill this bitch.
Could she reverse it or something?
I think that's something they may do, but she's been living in this box, bound and gagged. She hasn't eaten. I think that she was supposed to live in that box. She was just supposed to be alive in that box forever. Mm. So if you bring, like I said, Queenie into the mix, Queenie is probably going to fuck her up with a fork all day long, just because she knows she can. Like that
like
part.
We already said, Evan Peters has got to come back too. That's all.
Yeah, I feel like he is. He has to.
I'm looking forward to, because he's always been, like, I've always liked him. So I'm really interested in seeing how he's going to come back in the mix and seeing his relationship with Zoe develop, because I think they have good chemistry, although he is dating Emma Roberts. So I wonder how she feels about that. But
more Fiona Coke binges. I got to see more of that.
Yes, please. Yes. Please. I want to see more chiffon drapes and Coke bitches. That's all I want to see. And wind. That's all I want to see for like the next couple of episodes. As long as they have that, they put Pepper in the background when she's doing her little thing. And then I'm telling you, if someone says rats, I'm done. I'm done.
Good grief.
The Rubber Man coming out too.
Yes.
Please, if I see the Rubber Man somehow making, or if I even get a whiff of bondage that involves rubber, I'm done. Best season in the world. Best season in the world.
Yeah.
Please bring Mrs. Harmon back, even as a bum. Best season in the world, period.
Yes. So it was an outstanding first episode. I love all the characters, and I can't wait to see what happens next. So speaking of what happens next, listeners, if you do not want spoilers, I suggest you turn the volume down low, because this is a spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert.
First up, I'm going to read a couple of press releases for the upcoming episode. So for episode 302, the episode is going to be titled Boy Parts, and here is the official press release. Fiona helps Zoe and Madison deal with a horrible tragedy. Delphine LaLaurie struggles to adjust to modern life. Cordelia faces a dark decision about her family. We also have the official synopsis of Boy Parts, and here's the official synopsis. Death has failed to claim more than one person, including Madame LaLaurie, whose secret Fiona is determined to ferret out. The next day, at morning gathering, Queenie tells the story of how she first discovered her powers and ancestry and ended up at the academy. The gathering is interrupted by a pair of detectives, Sanchez and Stiles, who want to talk to Madison and Zoe about what happened at the frat party. Fiona makes sure their investigation ends immediately, leaving the girls utterly terrified of her. Later, Madison decides to pay Zoe back for her help, but when Madison decides to play Dr. Frankenstein and build Zoe the quote-unquote perfect boyfriend, things go gruesomely wrong. Meanwhile, Cordelia and Hank meet with a fertility doctor, but after a year of treatments, there's still no progress. Hank exhorts her to use her magic instead. Cordelia is reluctant, but ultimately assents to the black ceremony despite her misgivings. Back at the academy, Lori tells the story of how she came to be immortal, cursed and buried alive by Marie Laveau. As Fiona confronts the still living Marie, risking ending the ages-old truce between the witches and the voodoo priestesses, LaLaurie makes her escape. Though after 180 years in a coffin, she is unprepared for the modern world, and Zoe and her new quote-unquote boyfriend find themselves with a new and somewhat unsettling ally. Next up, we also have the official press release for episode 3, which is titled The Replacements. Here we go. Fiona takes on an unlikely protege. A guilt-ridden Zoe tries to give Kyle his old life back. Madison has a fiery exchange with Joan Ramsey, a new neighbor. Here's the press release for episode 4, which is titled Fearful Pranks Ensue. Fiona's choices rattle a decades-long truce between the Salem witches and Marie Laveau. The Council of Witchcraft pays a surprise visit to the Academy with disturbing allegations. We also have the press release for episode 5, which is titled Burn Witch Burn. Besieged by Marie Laveau's army, Zoe unleashes a new power. Fiona and Myrtle clash over control of the Coven. Madame LaLaurie is confronted by old ghosts. We also have the episode title of episode 6, and that's going to be called The Axeman Cometh. We also have some interesting casting scoop for the series. Actor Leslie Jordan, who is popular for his role on Will and Grace of Beverly Leslie, announced that he
actually came to Omaha.
There you go.
I love him. He's
Shout
so
out to
cool.
Leslie Jordan. Leslie Jordan has joined the cast. He's going to play one of the witches on the Witches Council.
Of course he would.
Yes.
I love him. He's such a little nugget. He's just so little.
He's
I love him.
adorable. I just want to put him in my pocket and just hang out
carry
and sip
him.
apple martinis or something. Something fancy.
There you go. Newcomer Alexander Draymond has landed a recurring role on Coven. He's going to play the son of Patti LuPone's character. They're people that move in next door to the academy. We've also learned that actor Danny Houston has been cast as the quote-unquote, per Ryan Murphy's Twitter, as the sexy and dangerous boyfriend of Jessica Lange's character, and it is also rumored that he is going to be playing the serial killer, the Axeman.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. Oh, I also forgot to mention that we also have the episode title for episode 7, and that's going to be called The Dead. And other bits of news, we found out that Patti LuPone and Jessica Lange are going to face off, so they're going to be enemies. Patti LuPone is going to be playing a sort of fundamentalist Christian. She's going to be sort of like the hard right, as opposed to Jessica Lange, who's a much more liberal, obviously, character. After the episode premiered, Ryan Murphy did an interview with TV Line where he answered some burning questions, and there were a lot of spoilery tidbits that were released. So I'm just going to read some of the spoilers. Everyone else that's interested in reading more about it can certainly visit our like page, which can be found at facebook.com/PCR Are You Afraid? So here's some spoilery tidbits. Apparently, Fiona is going to make Madame LaLaurie be Queenie's personal slave as payback for all of the atrocities that Madame LaLaurie did in the 1800s. So, through that relationship...
Didn't Cat Meow call that?
Wait, repeat that again?
That. I think Cat Meow already thought that. Darielle or Cat's Meow said that was going to happen.
What?
Yeah.
They saw it coming. Yeah.
What? What are we talking about?
About Madame LaLaurie being Queenie's slave.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and as per Ryan Murphy, what he says, through that relationship, she has an entire season of guilt and remorse and finally learning about the gravity of what she did. We're also going to see, obviously, Marie Laveau in the present day. Marie Laveau is going to run a hair salon called, get ready for this, Cornrow City.
Yes.
That is so ratchet.
Where she's gone undercover.
I'm ready for it. I'm ready to, yes. You can braid my hair anytime, Marie Laveau. You can go ahead and put them singlies, twist in, whatever you feel like you need to do. Because she's everything. I'm happy. It's funny because since she is taking undercover in a salon called Cornrow City, that's actually true. She did
She
work in a salon. Yeah, and she worked for white people.
Mm.
There you go.
Wow.
Ryan Murphy also said that we're going to find out who takes Fiona's throne, but not until episode 12, which is the finale of the season. And so he was asked, does that mean Jessica's character will become a threat to the students? And he goes, Ryan Murphy, of course, goes, oh, she kills one of them in episode 3. She's not giving it up. Fiona thinks she's found out who the Supreme is, and that person gets killed. She's not giving up that throne. No way. And so he goes on to talk about Kyle's storyline, and it was very much influenced by Mary Shelley. Apparently, for the first handful of episodes that Kyle comes back, he doesn't even speak. For the first 6 episodes, he doesn't speak. So they had to do a lot with body language and mime. And then they asked, does Coven have its own version of Bloody Face or Rubberman? And he goes, the arch villains of the season are the Minotaur from the cold opening of the premiere, and the Axeman, who was an actual serial killer in New Orleans. And then he goes on to talk about Cordelia and her repressing her power. And he goes, Sarah Paulson, the actress, starts off prim and proper, and then there's something that happens to her character around episode 5 that forces her to realize, okay, my mother may be right. And that's also a great dynamic to play. And, off of a mother and daughter who don't like each other, where Sarah starts and where Sarah ends up is completely the opposite of what she's been playing in that first episode. It was hard for her to play that very buttoned up and prim. She likes to vibrate and do stuff that's a little more out there, but she gets to soon enough. And then they talk about Myrtle Snow, and it says that they're going to flash back to a time when Fiona was 18 years old, and so was Myrtle, and they were in school, and that's when they became bitter rivals. Apparently, Myrtle is Fiona's nemesis, and it says that Fiona was very deadly even at 18 years old.
Deadly. Mm-hmm.
Deadly. There you go. Deadly.
Oh, but
And then he was asked if that famous promotional poster of the snake in 3 people's mouths, if that's going to manifest itself in the season. And he goes to say, yes, there is a 3-way. That is a clue that I don't want to say too much about.
As far as the snake going, I thought, well, let's see. Marie Laveau did have a snake, and his name was Zombie, with no E at the end. And then the fact that there's a black woman and there's 2 white women, that could signify the fact that there may be a 3-way in between those 3 women. Who knows? And not 3-way sexually, but 3-way as in all these women. Fiona, LaLaurie, and Laveau.
No, it's going to be Marie, Myrtle, and Fiona are going to have sex.
You think so?
Why not?
No, I don't know. That's
I think it's
going to
be witches. I don't think they're going to throw in LaLaurie having sex with Marie Laveau.
I'm not saying maybe from a sexual standpoint, but it could be
Better grab that dildo.
I'm over you. Goodbye.
That lambskin.
I was just
shut
lambskin dildo. So it's not
up.
human skin, it's lambskin.
That was the worst episode of Catfish I've ever seen before in my life. I was knowing damn well there ain't no damn lambskin dildo.
Might have D pimping on.
I'm done with y'all. Good night. I'm going to bed.
Good
Fuck you
night.
guys.
Yes. So, what does everyone think of all of these scoops that I just mentioned?
Spoiler alert.
I'm kind of mad you mentioned them because
I know, right? Because now, like, there's no mystery. Now it's just like now that you said that someone's gonna die, part of me wants to say that it's going to be Madison, but it's too obvious. But Fiona did pick up on the strength of Madison's powers.
Yes, she did. What did she call
So
you? Evil witch bitch or something.
she was like dropped by her, and then that's when she was
She's a
like, "Oh
sloppy
yeah."
witch bitch.
Sloppy witch bitch. That's
I
it.
was like, "Damn!" And I don't think it's going to be Queenie. Because I feel like Queenie's got so much to offer right now, and we really haven't gotten a chance to get to know her. And we just gonna call old girl Addie, because she forever Addie.
Her name is Nan. I hope they don't kill her off, because that means that they're just going to kill her off every time that she's on the show.
Well,
Like
no,
they
she
just
was in the
bring
show
her
for a
to
minute,
exploit
though.
her.
She was on the show for like 3 episodes.
Yeah, and she got knocked the hell out in the middle of the road.
It'll probably
Being a
one of
pretty
those
girl.
things she meant to shut up. She meant to probably hit Madison, but she's probably going to hit somebody else. Because I would be really upset if they kill off Madison so quickly. Because to me, she's a very important character. She's that mean girl. She's that mean witch girl who's very manipulative, and she knows that what she has is a gift, and she's not gonna use it for good. And there's a possibility she could be the Supreme. Because I'm sorry, like, I just don't think that Zoe is, but she's kind of a weak character to me too.
And Madison may be having a sex tape.
Well, no, they all died.
It's so y'all are demented.
They
I
had no
can't.
time
Okay.
to put it in the cloud.
Ooh, all of them had androids.
Oh my god.
So everyone else's opinions on spoilers, does it make you excited to see the next couple of episodes?
I'm excited. When I hear spoilers, I kind of like to spin it because I really don't like to hear them, but I spin it because it's like now I know.
Show.
no. It's like I'm just excited to see how it's all gonna play out. I know it's gonna happen, so let's see how they do it, kind of thing. And I don't know. I'm kind of excited to see what's going on. Like DVR, let's hook it all up. Excited.
Yeah, I can't wait. This is going to be the season right here. And we got the crew right here on this show. That's right.
Exactly.
Absolutely. So before we go, I do want to give this phenomenal news that is the ratings. FX's American Horror Story Coven launched Wednesday night to the anthology franchise's biggest audience ever. The debut was seen by 5.5 million viewers, up 44%, almost 50% from last year's American Horror Story Asylum. The episode also delivered a 3.0 rating among adults 18 to 49, up roughly 90% from last fall, and topping everything on regular broadcast television except for Modern Family. So it did very well, and if you add in the show's first encore, which aired immediately after the premiere, American Horror Story had a total of 7.8 million viewers tuning in. So definitely outstanding numbers for the series. And I mean, I think it proves that this was one of the most highly anticipated shows of the fall. Everyone was talking about it. People, for those that listen to Papi Chulo Radio, people that don't typically like horror, like reality host Dominic Morgan and Push Forward with Marshall Evans host Marshall Evans, they were interested in seeing American Horror Story. And these are two individuals who have stated publicly on their shows that they do not like anything horror related. So it's a true testament to the casting as well as to the storyline. So definitely shout out to American Horror Story. We will be here every week, every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific with a brand new installment of Are You Afraid? You can like our like page. Just go to facebook.com/PCR, then the words spelled out, all of this together, Are You Afraid? Or you can actually click on the promotional image for Are You Afraid? And that's on the Papi Chulo Radio homepage, and it'll take you exactly to the like page. So, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, listeners, please email us at contact@papichuloradio.com. Co-host, can you please tell the listeners where they can find you on the web?
Yeah, you can hit me up on Twitter, /Deadly2213, and I think I have some links on there. And you can always find me in my boudoir. Yeah.
Wow.
Lord today.
Okay. You guys can catch me on Twitter at What the Hell Darielle. That's WTHDARIELLE. And of course, you can subscribe to me on YouTube. That's Darielle. Dairy spelled like milk products. DAIRYELLE.
I don't know where Cat Meow went. Maybe she, I don't know. I think she's in a coffin with Marie Laveau right now. But just to let you know, I guess she had technical difficulties. You can find her on Twitter by going to twitter.com/catsmeow90. You can like Papi Chulo Radio on Facebook by going to facebook.com/Papi Chulo Radio. And you can also follow us on Twitter by going to twitter.com/Papi Chulo Radio. Remember, listeners, we are going to be here every Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific on PapiChuloRadio.com with our recap of American Horror Story Coven. And definitely like our like page, because if you comment on the like page, we may read your comment on the air. As long as we get a good amount of people commenting, we may feature your comments on the show. So, co-hosts, wish everyone a good night.
Have a good night, everybody. Thanks for listening.
Have a great night. See you in the boudoir.
Absolutely. Have a great night, everyone.